Fix this motorcycle, and I'll marry you. The mechanic laughed. Then she froze when the Hell's Angels flocked in. Fix this motorcycle, and I'll marry you. That's what the girl said. The mechanic laughed until she heard the roar of 20 Hell's Angels bikes closing in behind her and realized this wasn't a joke. The heat in Redwood Valley was unbearable that afternoon. Inside Miller's auto and motor repairs, sparks flew from welding guns, tools clattered, and the sharp scent of gasoline filled the air. Behind the main counter, working with fierce concentration, was Sierra Hale, a 23-year-old motorcycle mechanic with grease on her cheeks and fire in her heart. She wasn't just good at her job, she was the best in the town. Men twice her age came to her with machines they couldn't diagnose. But Sierra had one flaw. She didn't believe in love. Not anymore. Her last relationship had broken her trust so deeply that she'd welded a steel wall around her heart. Stronger than any motorcycle frame she'd ever repaired, a stranger walks in the shop bell rang. Sierra didn't look up. "Give me 5 minutes," she muttered, tightening bolts on a Harley engine. But the footsteps kept coming closer, confident, steady, almost too calm. Sierra turned and froze. A young woman stood in front of her. Not rugged, not rough, not a biker, but soft-spoken, graceful, wrapped in a denim jacket and holding a broken black motorcycle helmet in her hands. Her eyes were red, as if she had been crying. "Can you repair a heart?" the girl whispered. Sierra blinked. "What?" The girl took a deep breath. "No, not a heart. A motorcycle. His motorcycle." Sierra pushed her goggles up. "Bring it in. I'll check what's wrong." But the girl didn't move. Instead, she walked closer and said something that made Sierra drop her wrench. "Fix this motorcycle and I'll marry you." Sierra stared, then burst out laughing. "You're in the wrong shop. Marriage proposal service is 2 blocks down." But the girl didn't smile. She placed a trembling hand on the table. "I'm serious." The girl's truth comes out. "My name is Alina," she said quietly. "My fiancé passed away last week. A truck hit him on the highway." Sierra's smile faded instantly. Alina opened her backpack and pulled out a photo. Alina with a tall, gentle-faced biker whose smile lit up the entire frame. "This was his bike," she whispered. "He wanted to ride it on our wedding day. But after the accident, the police gave it back to me. Broken, bent, unrecognizable." She took a shaky breath. "I don't care if I never get married. I just want to hear his bike roar one last time." And then she said again, but softer this time, like a vow, "If you can fix it, I'll marry you." Sierra swallowed. The room suddenly felt heavier than iron. She didn't laugh now. This wasn't a joke. This was a heart begging for closure. "Where's the bike?" Sierra asked gently. Alina pointed outside. Sierra pushed open the garage door and froze for the second time that day. The Hells Angels, our waiting 20 massive Harley-Davidsons, stood in the parking lot, .20 leather-clad giants, .20 patches with the unmistakable red and white logo. Held right in front of them, covered with a dusty black sheet, was a destroyed motorcycle. Sierra whispered, "What is this?" Alina stepped beside her. These were his brothers, his family, the Hells Angels chapter he rode with. The bikers stepped forward, their boots echoing like thunder. A huge man with a white beard, Reaper, spoke first. "We heard what you're trying to do for Alina." His voice was deep and rough like gravel. "Her man was one of ours. A good one. And we want to see his motorcycle restored, even if it's the last thing we do." Another biker, Ghost added, "But we need someone who can actually do it. Someone who won't run. Someone who won't mess it up." All eyes turned to Sierra. She felt her knees weaken. Reaper continued, "Alina thinks she can fix it. We hope she's right. Because this bike, it's more than a machine. It's the last memory we got." And then, as if the world stopped spinning, Alina placed her hand over Sierra's and whispered, "Please." Sierra's decision Sierra wasn't easily intimidated. She had built bikes since she was 15, raced engines, fixed machines people called hopeless. But this wasn't just a repair. This was a resurrection. She looked at the damaged motorcycle. Broken frame, shattered tank, twisted metal, the corpse of what once was a beautiful machine. And yet something inside her stirred. A challenge, a purpose, a fire. She turned to Alina. "I'll fix it," Sierra said. "But Her voice cracked. I can't promise perfection. Alina squeezed her hand. I don't need perfect. I need him. The Hell's Angels stepped back, forming a wide circle around Sierra and the bike. Reaper raised his chin. Then let the work begin. A promise sparks a fire inside the shop. Sierra rolled up her sleeves. The angel surrounded her quietly, respectfully. Alina stood in the corner, hands clasped to her chest, watching every move. Sierra examined the bike. Frame bent fork, twisted tank, crushed carburetor, flooded wiring, torn exhaust, cracked rear. Will locked it was a disaster. But Sierra whispered, I've seen worse. She turned to Alina. How long were you two together? 5 years, Alina replied softly. He asked me to marry him on his motorcycle, right on the highway where we met. Sierra felt something unfamiliar, a tug at her heart. Maybe love wasn't a fairy tale. Maybe it was real. Maybe it lived in engines and memories. The first spark as Sierra began dismantling the frame, sparks flew. Ghost watched silently. Reaper crossed his arms. Tank leaned near the doorway. None of them spoke. They weren't just bikers now. They were guardians of memory as night fell. Sierra wiped sweat from her forehead. She glanced at Alina, tired, sad, but hopeful. Sierra whispered, I won't let you down. Alina gave a small smile. I know. Sierra picked up her tools again, and for the first time in years her heart trembled. Not from fear, but from something she had forgotten existed. Before we continue, share, and subscribe Bikers Hype. If you love Hell's Angels, prove your love. Share this video and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Sierra had worked on bikes all her life, but tonight felt different. Tonight, she wasn't just repairing a machine. She was stitching together someone's final dream. The garage lights buzzed overhead. Tools clinked. Grease stained Sierra's hands, arms, even her cheek. Sweat dripped, and yet she refused to take a break. Outside, the Hell's Angels waited like silent giants. 20 engines cooling off, ticking softly in the night air. 20 shadows guarding the shop door. Inside the shop, Sierra laid the damaged parts across a long metal table. Each piece a chapter of life lost too soon. Ghost walked inside, leaning quietly against a toolbox. You work like him, he said. Sierra glanced up. Like who? Alina's fiancé, Ghost replied. Ethan, the one we lost. Sierra nodded slowly. Ethan, the man whose last memory rested in her hands. The angel's Ghost sat on an overturned crate, folding his big tattooed hands. Ethan was the youngest of us, he said. Always smiling, always fixing something. He was the type of guy who'd stop his bike in the pouring rain just to help a stranger. Sierra felt chills. Ghost continued. And he loved that girl more than anything. When he talked about her, man, you could see his eyes light up like headlights in the dark. He chuckled softly. He once told me, if something ever happens to me, promise me you guys won't let my bike die. Alina deserves to hear it roar at least one more time. Ghost's voice cracked. And now here we are. Sierra swallowed. That wasn't just a bike. IT was a dying wish. The impossible FR hours passed. Sierra pushed back her hair, studying the twisted motorcycle frame. It's bent almost an inch, she whispered. If I heat it too much, it could crack. If I don't heat it enough, it'll snap later. Reaper stepped inside. You need help? Sierra shook her head firmly. No. If this breaks, it has to be on me. No one else. Reaper smiled, a rare sight. You've got the fire. I respect that. He turned to the doorway. Tank, diesel, bring the heavy press. Sierra froze. You have a hydraulic press? Reaper smirked. Sweetheart, we've rebuilt bikes on the side of mountains. Of course we do. Within minutes, tank and diesel drag in a portable motorcycle frame pressed the size of a small fridge. Sierra breathed out. Okay, now this might actually be possible. She heated the frame slowly, metal glowing orange, sparks flying. The angels watched in complete silence. Sierra whispered, Come on, don't crack on me. She guided the press lever down, metal groaned. Ghost held his breath. Tank muttered, Don't you give up on us. Sierra pressed harder to creak. Pop! The room went dead silent. Then Sierra stepped back. The frame was straight, perfectly. Reaper exhaled. I knew you had it in you. Alina covered her mouth. Tears forming Sierra's chest heaved. Frame's done, but there's a long way to go. Alina finds her strength. While Sierra worked on the wiring harness, Alina approached timidly. Sierra, can I help? Sierra blinked. You don't have to. You've been through so much already. Alina shook her head. I want to feel like I'm doing something for him, even if it's small. Sierra handed her a clean cloth. Then start by wiping down the fuel tank. It's dented, scratched, but not beyond saving. Alina nodded. She ran her fingers slowly across the metal surface. Gentle, careful, almost loving. I used to sit on this tank while Ethan rode, she whispered. He'd put one arm behind and hold my hand while steering. People used to say we were crazy. Sierra smiled softly. That's not crazy. That's love. Alina's hand paused. Do you think he'd be happy that we're doing this? Sierra looked at her. He's already happy. Because you're here. Because this bike isn't forgotten. Alina wiped her eyes. Thank you, Sierra. You didn't even know him, yet you're giving everything. Sierra swallowed hard. Everyone deserves to be loved like that. And maybe fixing this bike will teach me something I lost too. Alina gave her a small, warm smile that felt like a crack in Sierra's armor. The angels joined and suddenly the shop bell rang loudly. Every biker stood at attention. But it wasn't danger. IT was something else. Diesel walked in carrying 3 giant pizza boxes. Fuel for the mechanic, he said proudly. Sierra laughed. For the first time that day, Reaper set a drink near her. Can't let you pass out on us. We need you alive. Tank handed her a small metal box. I brought washers and bolts. Some might fit. Ghost brought a chair for Alina. Sit. You've been on your feet too long. Within minutes, the shop became alive. Reaper cleaned the exhaust pipes, Ghost organized the tools, Diesel swept the floor, Tank checked leftover parts on shelves, Alina polished the tank, Sierra rebuilt the carburetor. The Hells Angels weren't a gang tonight. They were family, and Sierra, for the first time ever, she felt like part of something bigger than herself. Then around midnight, Sierra hit the first major problem. The carburetor's float bowl was crushed. No amount of hammering or heating would make it work again. She slammed her wrench on the table. Damn it! Alina flinched. The angels turned. Reaper approached. What's wrong? Sierra pointed at the twisted piece. This part is ruined. Without it, the bike will never run. I can't restore this. I'm sorry. Alina's face fell instantly. Ghost stepped forward. Wait, what model is a carb? Sierra wiped her hands. Kian CVK 40. Custom jetted. Ghost grinned. You're lucky he rode the same bike I do. He jogged outside a moment later. The sound of a toolbox opening echoed. Sierra walked outside with him. Alina and the angels followed. The giant Ghost opened the saddlebag of his Harley. Inside lay a polished, well-maintained carburetor. He lifted it gently, like handling treasure. This is mine, he said. Sierra shook her head. I can't take that. It's your bike. Ghost shrugged. My bike can sleep for a week. Ethan, he deserves one last ride. He held the carb out to Sierra. Take it. For him. Alina's breath hitched. Sierra took the part with both hands. Overwhelmed, she whispered, Thank you. Ghost nodded once. No. Thank you for doing what none of us could. The moment Sierra is back inside, Sierra installed a new carburetor. Her hands moved steadily, but her heart wasn't as strong. The weight of the night, the loss, Alina's pain, the angel's loyalty, Ethan's memory, it all pressed against her like a heavy chain. She leaned over the table, eyes burning. Alina stepped beside her. Hey, are you okay? Sierra let out a shaky breath. No. Yes. Her voice cracked. I've never felt something like this. It's like everything matters for the first time. Alina gently placed a hand on her shoulder. You're giving him back to us. That means more than you think. Sierra closed her eyes. Maybe she did believe in love again. Not romantic love, but love that lives in loyalty, sacrifice, and memories that refuse to die at dawn approaches before a.m. Sierra wiped the sweat from her forehead. Frame finished. Tank repaired. Exhaust polished. Wiring complete. Carburetor installed. She tightened the final bolt. Reaper leaned forward. Well, Sierra stepped back. It's time. Alina covered her mouth. The angel surrounded the motorcycle, now standing proudly with chrome gleaming like moonlight. Sierra placed her hand on the ignition. Her heart beat so loudly she could hear it. She whispered, "Come on, Ethan, don't let us down." And then she twisted the key. The engine sputtered, coughed, growled, and then R-O-R-R-R. The entire shop shook. The angels cheered. Alina burst into tears and fell to her knees. Reaper lifted his fist in triumph. Ghost punched the air. Tank yelled, "That's what I'm talking about." And Sierra smiled with tears in her eyes. "He's home," she whispered. Before we continue, like, share, and subscribe Bikers Hype. If you love Hell's Angels, prove your love. Share this video and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. The engine of Ethan's motorcycle thundered through the garage like a heartbeat returning from the dead. Its deep, powerful rumble filled every corner of the shop. For a moment, nobody moved. Alina dropped to her knees, covering her mouth as tears streamed down her face. Her shoulders shook, not from sadness, but from overwhelming relief. This is his sound," she whispered. "This is him." Sierra stepped back, trembling. She had repaired hundreds of bikes before, but this one felt alive. Reaper walked forward, eyes shining beneath his heavy brow. "You brought him back," he said. "Not the man, but the spirit. That matters." Ghost placed a hand on Sierra's shoulder, his voice rough with emotion. "You did what 20 angels couldn't. You gave his final dream a voice." Tank wiped his face quickly and pretended something had fallen into his eye. "Dust, damn dust." The angels laughed. The tension of grief finally cracked open into something lighter. Something healing. Alina touches Alina stood slowly and walked toward the roaring machine. Her trembling hand reached out. She touched the tank. The metal vibrated beneath her palm like a heartbeat. "H-High, honey." Her voice was barely a whisper. Sierra swallowed hard. No amount of experience or confidence prepared her for this moment. Alina pressed her forehead against the tank. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm sorry you never made it home. But I'm here. I'm still here. And this is our goodbye ride." Reaper turned away, jaw clenched, fighting the emotion in his eyes. Ghost looked down. Diesel sniffed loudly. Even Sierra had to blink tears away at the angels make it, and Reaper stepped forward, placing a gentle but firm hand on Alina's shoulder. "Alina, we talked about this." She looked up. "We're giving you something today," Reaper said. Ghost crossed his arms. "It's something Ethan wanted." Alina frowned. "What do you mean?" Reaper motioned toward the driveway. All 20 Hell's Angels walked out of the shop. Their boots hit the ground in unison. Their patches gleamed in the golden first light of dawn. Their bikes, lined up like an army, rumbled as engines started one by one. That Reaper turned back to Alina. "Ethan always want to take you on one last ride." His voice cracked. "Today we're giving you that ride." Alina gasped. She covered her heart. You mean?" Ghost nodded. "You'll ride with Ethan's brothers. Behind us. Surrounded. Protected." Sierra stepped forward. "And his bike will lead the way." Alina looked at Sierra in disbelief. "You want me to ride it?" Sierra smiled softly. "No, I want you to feel it. Ethan's bike belongs to his last road. And you belong there too." Sierra takes the Elliott de Sierra swung her leg over Ethan's restored Harley. The engine growled under her like a beast awakened. She held the handlebars gently, respectfully, like she was holding someone's memory. Alina climbed onto Ghost's bike behind him. Her hands shook, but Ghost patted her arm. "You're safe. We got you." The angels formed a diamond-shaped formation. Sierra in the front, leading on Ethan's bike Reaper, Tank. Diesel flanking her Ghost, riding directly behind her with Alina. 17 more angels forming protective ring. The sun slowly rose, spilling gold across the valley. Sierra tightened her grip. "You ready?" Reaper asked. Sierra nodded. Reaper raised his hand and slammed it down to the road. TV-21 motorcycles roared forward into the open highway. The sound wasn't noise. It was music. It was thunder. It was Ethan's farewell. The formation moved like a single living creature. Cars pulled over to the side. Pedestrians stared. Some even filmed, thinking a massive angel escort was happening. But this wasn't a show. This was a tribute. Alina closed her eyes and let the wind blow through her hair. Behind the roar, she almost felt Ethan's arms around her, almost heard him saying, "Hold tight, baby." Sierra kept her eyes on the road, but her heart was pounding. The power of Ethan's bike, the trust the angels put in her, the responsibility she carried, it made her feel something she hadn't felt in years. Purpose. The road stretched ahead like a golden ribbon. Reaper rode up beside her, his voice booming over the wind. "You did good, Sierra. Damn good." Sierra felt warmth rise in her chest. "Thanks, but this isn't about me." Reaper shook his head. "Maybe not, but sometimes fate chooses a mechanic who fixes more than metal." Sierra stared forward, her eyes stinging. Maybe he was right at the final, and at the miles of riding. Reaper raised his hand. The formation slowed. They pulled into a quiet overlook, Ethan's favorite place, a cliff above the endless pine valley. Wind whistled. Birds circled above the treetops. The sun painted the sky in orange fire. Sierra parked Ethan's bike. The angels shut off their engines. Silence fell. Alina stepped forward slowly. She looked at Sierra. "Can I sit on it? Just for a moment?" "Of course," Sierra whispered. Alina sat on Ethan's motorcycle. Her hands gripped the handlebars, the same way he used to. She leaned forward, resting her forehead on the tank. Tears dripped silently. "This was our dream spot," she said. "We were going to watch the sunset after our wedding. He said this place was heaven. Maybe he's here now." Reaper placed a hand on her shoulder. "He is. Trust me." Sierra's secret on while the angel surrounded Alina. Sierra stepped back, her mind spinning. She looked at Ethan's bike, at the woman crying on it, the angels protecting her, and something inside Sierra broke open, a truth she didn't expect. She didn't want to leave them. She didn't want this day to end. For the first time in her life, the sound of roaring engines didn't feel like noise. It felt like home. Reaper noticed her staring and walked over. "You all right?" Sierra exhaled shakily. "I don't know. Everything feels different. Like this is where I belong." Reaper nodded slowly. "Then maybe you do." Sierra looked up at him. "What do you mean?" Reaper smirked. "You'll see." Alina stepped off the bike and walked straight to Sierra. Her eyes were red, but her smile was soft and grateful. "Sierra, before we go," Sierra swallowed. "Yes?" Alina took Sierra's hands gently. "I want you to finish the ride with me. The road back. Just you and Ethan's bike leading us." Sierra blinked. "Me?" But Alina nodded. "You brought it back. You brought him back. Please, lead us. For him." Sierra looked at Reaper. He nodded. "You earned that honor." Sierra's chest tightened with emotion. She whispered, "I'll lead." Alina hugged her, tight, warm, sincere. "Thank you for everything." Before we continue, share, and subscribe. Bikers Hype. If you love Hell's Angels, prove your love. Share this video and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. The sun hung low over the valley, glowing warm gold over the pine-covered cliffs. The angels stood beside their bikes, silent guardians for Alina, and witnesses to something sacred. Sierra held Ethan's restored motorcycle. Her hands rested gently on the handlebars, feeling the soft, steady thrum beneath the metal. Reaper walked forward first. "You lead," he said. "It's your road now. You earned it." Sierra swallowed, touched beyond words. Alina approached next. She had tears dry on her cheeks, but her expression held calm strength, the kind only love and loss could shape. "Take him home," she whispered. Sierra nodded. "I'll take him home." The ride back as the angels mounted their bikes. Ghost tapped his shoulder for Alina. She climbed on behind him, wrapping her arms around him as if holding on to Ethan's last thread. Sierra took a deep breath. The wind picked up, brushing through her hair, brushing across Ethan's bike as if the world itself acknowledged what was about to happen. Reaper raised 2 fingers, the silent signal. Sierra twisted the key to roar. The machine came alive. Every angel revved in response until the entire valley vibrated like thunder rolling across the earth. Then Sierra rolled forward, and the entire Hell's Angels formation moved behind her, 21 bikes in perfect unity. The road ahead stretched straight and long, a ribbon of memory and farewell as Sierra led the formation down the mountain road. The sunset painted everything in molten orange. People pulled their cars aside. Drivers removed hats. Some placed hands over hearts. IT wasn't a gang riding to date. IT wasn't even a club. IT was a procession of love, honoring a fallen brother. Alina closed her eyes, and for a moment, she swore she felt Ethan's arms around her again. Sierra's heart of Sierra had never felt this before. The wind hitting her face. The rumble of 20 giants behind her. The weight of someone's legacy under her hands. She wasn't just a mechanic anymore. She was leading a family to family she didn't know she needed. Her own heart, stubborn, hardened, closed for years, cracked open slowly, letting in something new. Belonging, purpose, home. Maybe love wasn't always about romance. Maybe it was about finding the place where your soul finally stopped running. And as the road unwound beneath her, she whispered to herself, maybe I'm not broken. Maybe I was just waiting for the right road. The return to the Choppas, they pulled into the shop again. The Angels parked in a wide formation, engines slowly dying to silence. Alina stepped down from Ghost's bike. She walked straight to Sierra, who sat on Ethan's bike, breathing heavily from the emotional weight. Alina touched Sierra's arm. You didn't just fix his motorcycle, she said. You fixed the last piece of him that I had left. Sierra's voice cracked. I'm honored, truly. Alina leaned closer. He would have adored you. You two would have argued like fire and gasoline, but respected each other like steel and chrome. Sierra laughed softly through tears. Sound like my kind of friendship. Alina nodded. A friendship he needed and one I needed too. The Angels over Reaper stepped forward, hands on his hips, beard blowing gently in the wind. You know, he said, we've been talking. Ghost joined him. Tank, Diesel. One by one, the entire formation approached. Reaper continued. We don't let many people into our circle. Hell, we don't let anyone who isn't blood or brotherhood. Ghost added. But you? You did something none of us could do. You carried Ethan's last dream on your shoulders and didn't buckle. You treated his bike with the kind of respect we treat our dead. Reaper looked her straight in the eyes. Sierra, hell, we want you with us. Sierra's breath hitched. With you? You mean... Ghost nodded. Not as a member, not as a patch, not as a rider, Reaper smiled. But as our official mechanic, our sister in steel. The Angels pounded their boots on the ground in approval. Sierra stared at them, stunned, shaking, emotional. Are you sure? She whispered. Tank laughed. You kidding? We need you more than you need us. Diesel added. And Ethan would haunt us forever if we didn't ask. Sierra felt tears spill down her cheeks. I'd be honored, she whispered. More than you know. Reaper extended his hand. Welcome to the family. Sierra took it. The Angels cheered the final joy later that evening. When the sun dipped low and shadows stretched long, Alina walked back to Ethan's bike. She placed a small white flower on the tank. Goodbye, my love, she whispered. I'll see you again someday. She stepped back, letting the moment breathe. Sierra came to stand beside her. Whenever you want to hear him again, Sierra said softly, come by. I'll keep it running. Always. Alina smiled. That's all I needed to hear. They hugged, long, warm, healing, the last words as the night wind swept across Redwood Valley. Sierra stood outside her garage, watching the Angels ride off into the darkness one by one, a river of chrome and thunder. Ghost slowed his bike as he passed her. Your family now, he said. Don't forget that. Reaper added with a smirk. And if anyone breaks your heart again, send us their address. Sierra laughed, shaking her head. I'll keep that in mind. The last bike disappeared around the bend, their engines echoing like distant drums. Sierra stood alone in the quiet. Except it didn't feel lonely, the IT felt full. She turned off the shop lights, locked the door, and whispered into the night. Thank you, Ethan, for bringing us together. And with that, the mechanic who once believed she had no place in the world found one a place of thunder, a place of steel, a place of loyalty, a place of family a place called Hell's Angels. Backhand Index Pointing Right. If you enjoyed this emotional biker story, make sure to subscribe to Biker's Hype. Backhand Index Pointing Right like and share the video Backhand Index Pointing Right, comment your name to be featured in future biker stories Backhand Index Pointing Right. And if you love Hell's Angels, share this video right now and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Prove your love.